Hello, everybody. Welcome to the video. Today we have a two-round NFL mock draft. So I think this should be pretty eventful. I know more round two guys. I know more about, I guess, round two guys more than round one guys. In my opinion, I think that I'm not well focused on each individual player. I'm more focused on what the team needs and has already. So if that's an issue for you guys, click off right now. But don't ask me what prospect is better than other. I personally wouldn't be able to tell you. I can give you my personal opinion. All I'm saying is that probably isn't enough for most of you guys. So, don't call me a Bengal copy as well with this. I was doing PFF before, and I learned that they didn't have some players that I wanted in round two. That is the only reason I switched over to this one. The other one I looked at had way too many ads all over the screen. You'd make one pick and then another ad would pop up on your screen. Don't want you guys to do that. So, want to enjoy the process. I want to have a two-round mock draft we can have complete fun with. And that being said, no trades. No trades. That's just a little bit too much. Maybe if you guys want one with trades, that's fine. If you guys want me to continue doing draft stuff, that's fine. I will continue to go. But I'm not going to do trades in this one. So, getting into it, I'm going to move my mic a little bit so it might hurt your ears. But I think my mic is dialed in now. I think we are ready to go. I think we're ready to rip here at number one overall. If you are the Chicago Bears, you are in desperate need of just about anyone on the board other than Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. So, that being said, it's Jalen Carter or Will Anderson for me. Which one is a little bit more valuable? In my opinion, Will Anderson's a little bit better. Jalen Carter's a little bit more valuable. Long term, I think Jalen Carter's your solution. But, ceiling. Will Anderson has the most potential out of the two. I think Will Anderson's going to be my pick here at number one. So, there's that. At number two, you have the Houston Texans. You need a quarterback. And if you anticipate to be bad, you might wait on that. At 12, if someone's available, you might get Will Levis. But that is not what we're here to do. We're here to take the best player for the team and the situation this season and what I think that they are personally going to do as a team. And I think that the Texans here at number two is very interesting. They're in a place where they can get probably the best interior player in the draft, and then or interior defensive line player in the class. They have all the quarterbacks available, whether it's Will Levis or you want Bryce Young. Bryce Young might be off your board. He's already off of some NFL teams' boards. So you might want CJ Stroud as the next best for sure option. You might even fire on a guy like Anthony Richardson here. I don't think you do. I think personally Bryce Young on his way to the Texans, finding a friendship and a franchise in Houston that would be more than happy to have him. I don't know what's going on with my hair, by the way, too. So it's like perfectly middle parted, but like one side likes to stay up and one side is very annoying. So deal with it. And then number three here, you already have Kyler Murray. No need to take a quarterback. Jalen Carter is the first sure pick here. And then if you are the Colts in this spot, this is a trade down spot for sure with both quarterbacks on the board. And I think just personally, you've got a new head coach. It's a defensive minded, or is it the offense? Holy crap, I can't believe I forgot this. I literally have a news alert on, okay, Gannon. Yeah, so I think it's a new offensive coach. I'm going to check on that. So yes, it is a new offensive minded head coach. I think that Will Levis will be the pick here. If you guys have an issue with that, with CJ Stroud still being on the board, I think Will Levis has the tools, has the fundamentals down. I think that he could become a guy. And at 5, you have a lot of things to consider if you are the Seattle Seahawks. You have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. What can you get later? You can get edge later. Not as good as the top guys, but you can get edge later. For sure. What can't you get later? A quarterback. A valuable corner. Maybe at 20, there's still one that falls. Maybe. You can't take that gamble. You don't need corner. I'm just saying that these are the freaking things that you need. You need edge. You need guard. I think that you could take that at 20. You need maybe a linebacker. You could take that later. That being said, you have Tyree Wilson, a very high ceiling athletic edge rusher that was productive in college. Very nice to see. And I think Seattle will take Tyree Wilson in this scenario at number 5. I think that it's not a for sure, but I think that it is a likely thing to happen if the board falls just like this. So there is that. Detroit now, what do you need if you're Detroit? You need a corner. That is for sure. Amani Oruwariye, who knows how long he's going to be there. Jeff Okudah, solid, has potential to be better than any other corner on that team. And other than that, I mean, I'm not sure who's on roster, who's not a free agent. Christian Gonzalez still being here is interesting. Myles Murphy, though, very enticing, can set the edge on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. You go Aiden Hutchinson one year, you get Myles Murphy the next. You're looking great. But that being said, Christian Gonzalez is just too good. At number 6, will get taken off the board very early. I like the player. I like the length. I like the speed. I like the player. I don't think that he has too many flaws. I think that compared to everybody else in the class, he doesn't have too many flaws, and I think that he should come out. He should develop well. He should play well. He should produce well. So, that being said, number 7 overall, Las Vegas Raiders, been rumored to go plenty of different ways here, but recently, since the Derek Carr news, it has been a quarterback. CJ Stroud still being here on the board for them, awfully lucky. Yes, that is the word. CJ Stroud off the board at number 7. Happy to see that for the frickin' Raiders. I'm gonna fix my hair. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back now. We're good. Myles Murphy at the spot is very interesting. If you are the Falcons, could you, maybe even consider Devin Witherspoon, I think it's Devin, Joey Porter Jr., Paris Johnson, Quentin Johnston even, you could use a receiver here, but Myles Murphy will have to be my pick. It's just going to have to happen. He is the best player on the board. You need a player like him. You're going to like his youth. You're going to like his ability. You're going to like the inside-outside versatility. I think he's an inside-outside versatility guy. I could be wrong. Do not. He'll obviously primarily be on the edge, but can move inside on some downs depending on the play, design, whatever it could be. Anywho, at number 9, we could see Anthony Richardson fall off the board right here. We could see a corner for sure fall off the board right here. We could see just about anyone go off the board. All of the valuable edge players are off the board. You don't see another, great one. Brian Brzee falling for reasons unknown. Lucas Van Ness down the board is someone that you're going to like. But personally, as a human being, here at number 9, this is a trade down spot for me if I'm Carolina. I'm going to trade down. I'm going to try to get to number 15 or so and maybe acquire a 3rd and a 5th round pick. Just how deep this class is. That would be my go-to, is move down a fair 6 spots or so. And then if you can acquire a 2nd and like a 5th round, great. If not, I'm fine with like a 3rd and maybe even a 4th if that is what you're willing to pay. But Anthony Richardson on the board is very interesting. You could use a guy like him, right? Yes. I think that if you are the Carolina Panthers, though, you'd want that building block ahead of him. I think that you'd want a veteran quarterback. Maybe you bring in Ryan Tannehill to play a season. Stupid. I'd much rather have Sam Darnold than Ryan Tannehill, if you're the Carolina Panthers, by the way. But Anthony Richardson falling off the board at number 9. He has tools. He has potential. He has what could be the highest upside in the class at quarterback, falling to number 9. A lot of people didn't even think he'd be a first-round pick this year. Ridiculous. Number 9 off the board. And then at this pick, Devin Witherspoon has fallen straight to the Eagles. Dream scenario is to have one of Joey Porter or Devin Witherspoon. It's interesting. It is that 2 good corners are still on the board when so many teams need it. And then still not going to do it. Paris Johnson off the board to Tennessee. Tackle goes at number 11. Just needed a tackle. I don't think that we need to spend too much time on that pick. Paris Johnson's good. Off the board. First tackle off the board to the Tennessee Titans. Bryce Young at number 2. Good. Great player. What else do you need? Oh, that's right. Just about everything in the class you need. You could build around him with another tackle. Laramie Tunsil, I think, is a contract year. I don't know if you get to re-sign him or anything like that. I don't know what you're going to do, but I knew what I'm going to do. Joey Porter's here. You could use a corner. Peter Skoronski's here. You could use a tackle. Johnston and Addison are both here. You could use wide receivers. What do I do here? I'm going to go one of the receivers, but you guys will, no, I'm not going to get one of the receivers. I lied. Give me Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. Got a little bit shorter arms, could move to guard, probably be very solid there for you as well. I've heard that his arms are not ridiculously short, but definitely shorter than the average arm length, I guess. So yeah, that is really that. And you basically steal from the Jets at this point. The Jets have to go Broderick Jones down the board to get the next best guy. This situation, I think that you could trade down from 13 to maybe 16 or 17 and still get, one of the tackles, one of the people, right? So you've obviously got Osiris Torrance on the board, Steve Avila. I didn't know Mouch was rated that high, or Mach. I'm not sure how to say it. And then offensive tackle as well. Anton Harrison down the board. DeJuan Jones, Darnell Wright. So there's still good players for you at 43 if and when you get there. But personally, if you're the Jets here, I don't think that you could wait. I think that you have to reach on a guy like Broderick Jones. And it couldn't even be a reach. He could be the best tackle in the class. These top three tackles we just saw go in the last 4 or 5 picks. They can all be very good. So don't sleep on any of them. And Joey Porter Jr. falling to the New England Patriots just had to happen. Joey Porter has fallen enough, finds himself off the board here. Right here. If you're the Packers, you need just about anything and everything. I love Jordan Addison as a player, and I'm a Packers fan. You could surround Jordan Love right now with Bijan Robinson. Don't need it. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon both on the roster. I'm just saying that Bijan's still available, which is still incredible. But you could surround him with Jordan Addison. You can give him a playmaker in Quentin Johnston. You can give him the best tight end, Michael Mayer, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. But Brian Brzee sitting on the board is interesting. You have Kenny Clark. I know that. You have Jaron Reed. I know that. You have Rashawn Gary. I know these things, all right? You're more likely going to need an edge than need Brian Brzee. That's why I'm taking Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa at 15. Ben mocked to go higher. I've seen him higher. I've seen him go a lot higher. I've seen him go top 10 in a mock draft. Are you kidding? Like, the guy is good. He's got the tools. He's got versatility. He's got power. That's the big thing about him. He can move people out of the way regardless of who it is. Take, one of the heaviest tackles in the game. Lucas Van Ness isn't going to guaranteed move them, but he can make a play still. That gives him great potential. Lucas Van Ness off the board at 15, not mad about it. You got one other pick in these first 2 rounds if you are the Green Bay Packers. Not mad at all. Washington Commanders at number 16. No more good corners on the board. Brian Branch is your slot corner type. Cam Smith's here. Keely Ringo as well. So corners looking not thin. All these guys are good, but you do need corner desperately. Brian St. Juste was probably your best guy, if that. That being said, Cam Smith still sitting on the board. Keely Ringo's been bashed recently. Feel really bad for him. Probably the top corner as the process started, and now is maybe a 2nd round pick. So Cam Smith here is interesting, but I want to take the upside of Keely Ringo. Finds himself in the exact middle of the 1st round. I like the player. I like the tools that he has. I like the production that he didn't have in the big game. I understand that could be a problem. I think that one game can really show a player's future, but not to this extent. If he was mocked round 1 early, maybe the best corner in the class, has one bad game and maybe a few other bad plays in a couple of other games as a college cornerback, he's still got the value for me. At number 16, I like the pick. And then at number 17, someone that also needs a cornerback. But how are you going to pass up on a guy like Brian Brzee? Imagine learning from Cam Hayward for a year or two, and then just being a rotational guy for the first year or two, and then you can absolutely take over. I think Brian Brzee is falling a little too far. I think that this is a possible pick, but I don't think I'm going to pick him here. That is the thing. There's still plenty of great players on this board, but it all comes down to who do you value the highest? Who do you want to take? Who do you need? And to me, that's corner. And with Cam Smith sitting here, there's going to be no other corners. All the corners would be gone after this. But sucks to be any other team that needs a corner, considering Cam Smith just fell off the board. Christian Gonzalez at number 6 is a great player, great pick, great fit. And then this is exactly the type of place the Detroit Lions needed to be. Bryan Bresee, talking about how far he's fallen, he goes. He's just going to fall off the board to Detroit. He's going to find a home there. I think that he could play well there early. So, I mean, their first pick was Christian Gonzalez. You missed out on the other Clemson defensive lineman, Myles Murphy. So now you're going to have Bryan Bresee, Aiden Hutchinson, and then you have a couple other developmental guys that can maybe step in and do something. James Houston this past year was good whenever he was playing, got good production and limited snaps. So you have a lot of tools around him. On the board, next best quarterback is Tanner McKee. Don't think you can really consider him here at number 19. I mean, you still need just about a lot of positions, actually. Bijan off the board is very likely in this scenario for me. But I can also see you going with a Quentin Johnston receiver. What am I even saying? A receiver like Quentin Johnston, Michael Mayer can even fall off the board at this point. Brian Branch, versatile player, could play that slot corner. Considering you already have Carlton Davis, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to extend Sean Murphy-Bunting, but if you can, that'd be great. And then you have another guy. I can't. Jamel Dean also needs to be extended, but that being said, Brian Branch has fallen too far. Great, versatile player. Probably one of the better DBs in this class, or I guess more intriguing DBs in this class as far as safety and nickel corner goes. I think that he could play a phenomenal role in this upcoming spot here. At number 20, Seattle already addressed Tyree Wilson as, their top 5 pick. I think it's a very good pick. I think Bijan Robinson on the board is, a little interesting. I just don't think that you can go there. You still got the top maybe 3 receivers on the board. Jackson Smith-Njigba, Addison, and Johnson. Do you need them here? No. You've got an aging Tyler Lockett, sure. You've got DK Metcalf. Maybe you could use one. Now that I think about it, you ain't really got nothing. It is an interesting spot here. You could use a bunch of different things. O'Cyrus Torrence is a good need here, I guess. Good player. Trenton Simpson. Ooh, I like Trenton Simpson to the spot. Give me Trenton Simpson to Seattle. I love that spot. Very good linebacker, in my opinion. I like what I've seen from him. I haven't broken down any footage, film, whatever you want to call. I've read his draft profile. I've seen the numbers. I've seen the physicals on him. I've seen how tall he is, how fast he runs. I've seen it. So, I mean, I like the pick there. Then with the Chargers, I think you can get an elite separator like Jordan Addison with some speed and pair him up nice, and he can learn from some of the best. I think that that's just going to be a very nice pick immediately. I don't think that needs to even be questioned. Might see even a little run on receiver here. Baltimore's top need is a wide receiver. Quentin Johnston fits the type. I like the fit with Quentin Johnston here. I like it. I'm not going to lie. Will I take him? No. Biggest shakeup in the draft. Bijan Robinson going at number 22 to the Baltimore Ravens. J.K. Dobbins, always a question mark, no doubt. And then you got Gus Bus. Who knows how long he's going to be under contract, let alone playable. He's 27, maybe 28 years old now. He's getting older. And then, like I said, J.K. Dobbins and Bijan could be one of the best duos in the league and give it a year or two. And, I mean, that is going to be dangerous for a team that loves to run the ball. You can always pick up a receiver later. They are very good in this class. You can get them further down the board. I hate to copy right here, but Tyreek Stevenson would probably be my first go-to. I like the length here. I like the player, I should say, of Tyreek Stevenson. Is he a first-round pick? In my eyes, he could go later than this, and he could also go earlier than this. So it is a little interesting here. What do you need more than anything? It is corner, and Tyreek Stevenson is going to be my go-to. And like I said, I hate to copy because Bengal did the exact same thing, but I just think it's a possible a realistic pick. And I mean, I'm not going to shy off just because someone else did it. So there is that. So at this pick, if you are the Jags, you could use just about anyone on the board at this point, man. I mean, you've seen so many holes in this team, but you've also seen so much great young talent. But I think one player that that has to stop falling is O'Cyrus Torrence. He'll fall off the board at number 24. I like the player. Probably the best interior offensive line guy in the draft. Probably would go play guard for the Jacksonville Jaguars right away. I know they have Brandon Sheriff. I know that. But he's not going to be there forever. Of course, O'Cyrus Torrence, though, falling off the board here is very nice. And then number 25 here with the New York Giants. You're going to need a receiver. You're going to need a tight end. You're going to need anyone on the board. Drew Sanders is nice. Nolan Smith is here. Isaiah Foskey. Even Antonio Johnson, one of my favorite players in the class, runs oh my goodness, he runs so fast at a good pace and whatnot. So I'm really considering Nolan Smith here. Probably should have gone a little earlier than this, but Nolan Smith at number 25 goes off the board to New York. Probably not their primary need necessarily, but can definitely play ball. Quentin Johnston, I think he'll find a home in Dallas. I don't like it. But I just genuinely think that they're going to need another receiver. I think Quentin Johnston fits the build. I think that he'll be good. That's it. So I went and blew my nose, and it's hot in here. You guys see my red cheeks. Yeah. So at the Buffalo Bills spot right here, you could definitely consider Jahmyr Gibbs. Great player. Actually like the player a lot. But is that exactly what you need? Probably not. Your safeties are aging. Antonio Johnson's on the board. Like I mentioned, he was one of my favorite players in the class. Antonio Johnson off the board at 27 to the Buffalo Bills. Happy to see it for sure. I very much do like that. At number 27, good value for the Buffalo Bills. Moving on to Cincinnati. What could they use? They could use the guy, probably the dime piece of the draft. Maybe the diamond in disguise. Maybe the hidden gem of the class. How about this? Not a hidden gem at all. Maybe just meant to be. Michael Mayer finds himself off the board at 28. Yeah, I had him fall a little bit far. I don't care. Cincinnati got him. Teams got who they needed. You get him. That's awesome. That is really cool for the Cincinnati Bengals to find Michael Mayer at 28. It's a dream scenario. Surround Joe Burrow with the good weapons. Offense is obviously favored in the league nowadays. So I think, you like the pick a lot. Hayden Hurst is not your guy forever. And I like the dynamic that you could have with Hayden Hurst and Michael Mayer. If Hayden Hurst is even under contract, I couldn't even tell you. But New Orleans on the board here. You need just about anything. And if that's a big if, we saw any of the top, maybe Brian Brzee falls to here. I don't think that happens. Foskey's on the board. Is probably the next best, defensive lineman guy, BJ Ojolari. Leaving you another Ohio State receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Very solid player. I like the fit. Any Ohio State receiver with the Saints is really, you can't go wrong with it. And then at number 30, I think we're looking at the top of the board, seeing who's there, and saying, the hell with it. You've got one of the best NFL receiving rooms already. Bring in Jalen Hyatt, make it that much better. A guy that can bring complete speed. Biletnikoff Award, one of the top receivers in the college world. You can run like the wind. I love the player. He's got great height. I think that he's a prototypical good receiver. I think that he could be one of the best in the class. He probably could be top 3 and give it 5 years time, or 5 years time, something like that. Anywho, Jalen Hyatt at number 30, great pick. only, involves a little bit more, right? With this Philadelphia team, you can only get better with that pick. That being said, at number 31, I think that you would have taken Jalin Hyatt right here if you were the Kansas City Chiefs. Instead, you will find yourself picking, who will it be? Will it be a running back here? There's a good one right here with Jahmyr Gibbs. Do you need him? No. Zay Flowers. You have Kadarius Toney. Boo Boo's off the off contract. Mecole Hardman on a contract year as well coming up, if not this year. You've got a decision to make. Do you draft receiver earlier? Do you maybe draft a speed guy down the board? Give him Nathaniel Dell down the board. Give you Xavier Hutchinson, maybe. Tyler Scott was really good. But you know who I liked in this class? It was Trey Tucker. Far down the board. I think he'll find himself in the first 4 rounds. As crazy as that is to say, Kayshon Boutte is actually towards the top of the board for this draft, whatever. Right here, if you are the Chiefs, you're gonna need another piece around Nick Bolton, and then an elite blitzer there with Drew Sanders coming out of Arkansas as a linebacker. He could play multiple different roles. He could play good and bad for you. I think that he is the piece that this defense is missing. I think that you can only scheme up someone like Drew Sanders. I'm not quite sure who their defensive coordinator is, Spagnuolo. So Spags, you know Spags. He's gonna put Drew Sanders in the right place to succeed, and I think that he's a versatile defensive back or defensive linebacker that can definitely help you out throughout these next couple of years with him. At number 17, we took Cam Smith, and Cam Smith is solid. Great pick at number 17, in my opinion. What do you need here? You're gonna need a tackle. We've mocked tackle here before. Anton Harrison being here, not a blessing in disguise, but he's there. He's available. You need a tackle. You're gonna pick a tackle. I like the pick. I don't know if you guys know or not, but I'm sick, and I did actually take a little minor break there from break here from YouTube. But yeah, no bueno. I've been fighting off a lot of coughs during this video, and it's been interesting to watch my face cam and watch me die. So you got Peter Skoronski, you got Bryce Young, maybe an unexpected board, but you addressed good spots here. And we know how valuable a second running back is in a system. And imagine having a Jahmyr Gibbs and a Dameon Pierce. Oh my God. Would you have the best young running back room? Probably. That would be interesting to watch. That'd be fun to watch, as treacherous as that would be. But Keion White has fallen too far. Very good player. I don't think he's as good as people keep on making him. I think him being top 15 or 10 on Daniel Jeremiah's big board kind of screws people's opinions over a little bit. I think you still have to take your shot on him. I think that he's still a great player. I think that he's still a high upside player, but top 10 as a player coming into the NFL, probably not. That being said, back-to-back edges off the board, could that be? And it is. But not with the top guys you probably think. BJ Ojulari, Isaiah Foskey still here, but down the board. I'm just kidding. He's right here. Felix Uzama. I'd happily take him there at 34. Looks to be a good player. I think that he's got all the tools you like. I think he's not exactly what the Arizona Cardinals need, but I think that he's a player that you can mold into the right player that you want and need. And I think that he is a very a good player. I'm not exactly sure, if I'd exactly take him over Isaiah Foskey and BJ Ojulari again, but I like him off the board at 34, just to be a little bit different. Here at number 35 in this draft, you already drafted Will Levis. What do you need around him? You're going to need offensive linemen. Whether or not there's still good ones on the board, there is. Michael Schmitz, Avila's down the board here. Whippler, Jarrett Patterson's okay. Andrew Voorhees down the board you might want to look at. Offensive tackle, DeJuan Jones, Darnell Wright, Jalen Duncan even down the board. Wanya Morris. So it is fun to watch, me build these teams. I feel like it's fun that I get the opportunity to with these mock drafts and whatever. But right here, there's just so many different ways you could go. It is crazy. And you could use a wide receiver. You could reach on one, and you could even get the falling Zay Flowers. They say he's falling, but I don't really think he's a round one guy in general. So, that being said, off the board, DeJuan Jones finds himself going to the Colts at pick number 35 early in the second round. Good players, or I guess good player, and would be headed to a good situation. Maybe even gets a year to kind of learn and sit behind a few guys, be more of a rotational guy before a complete starter. With just the old offensive lineman that they have there, they're going to need to replace him eventually. And I think offensive line behind a developing quarterback is a very important thing. Draft Will Levis, and then you draft someone that can help him out. So I like that. And then at number 36 here, if you're the Los Angeles Rams, you're going to need some sort of defensive lineman, whether that is like Isaiah Foskey, even BJ Ojolari. I like both the players. I also like Tuli Pelotu a lot. I love Tuli. Whether or not he goes as high, I don't think so. You need a running back. Jahmyr Gibbs off the board. Los Angeles Rams take the cake with this one. You can get a edge rusher further down the board, in my opinion. You could also get a running back, but not as good as Jahmyr Gibbs. Alabama running back off the board at number 36. Very phenomenal pick, in my opinion. I like the way that looks. I like the way that would play out. Cam Akers isn't your guy. Kyren Williams, third best running back at best. Second best, I guess, on the team at best. Yeah, here you've got Tyree Wilson, Trenton Simpson, and you could always get your receivers later. Zay Flowers, literally a Tyler Lockett replacement, finds himself off the board to the Seattle Seahawks. Boston College receiver, flies. I think he's the one that flies. Josh Downs also flies, but I think Zay Flowers is a fast, unique player. Down the board. Love that. If you guys want an extended mock draft, by the way, as well, let me know. That would be incredibly fun. I would love doing that. You just would have to let me know. All right. I would love to do like a 4-round or a 3-round or even a 7, or I'd do a 5-round mock draft at the highest. So let me know. Anywho, offensive tackle Darnell Wright's the next best option, but you've also got guys like Avila, a center like I think John Michael Schmitz is at center, or they might have him at center, and Luke Whippler. I'm not sure if he's a center. I'm pretty sure that he can play center. I don't know. I hate to be inaccurate here, but offensive and defensive line, or I guess interior defensive line and offensive line in general for me is very much a weakness in my knowledge, for sure. And at this spot right here, what corners are even on the board? Clark Phillips, Manny Forbes is here, though. That is interesting. I'm interested. Manny Forbes, actually. But Clark Phillips continues to fall. Do you need that type of guy? You have, I guess, yeah, you lost Trayvon Mullen, right? So, excuse me. You got, yeah. Let's just take Clark Phillips. No think about it. No thought. Just put it in. Put the pick in. The pick is in. Put it in. That's not right. You got Anthony Richardson. You're going to need weapons around him for sure. What do? If you are the Carolina Panthers at the spot, you got Anthony Richardson. I know. I picked that. But do you go tackle? Not your biggest need on the board. But if you're going to invest in Anthony Richardson, you're going to need someone to help him out. I think Darnell Wright, with his athletic, I think he's athletic. I need to read more into these guys before I do another mock draft for sure. So yeah, I think Darnell Wright is more athletic than not, and whatnot. So that is in play. A tight end, definitely in play. Dalton Kincaid on the board. I mean, Luke Musgrave, Darnell Washington's even here. Tucker Kraft, someone that a lot of people like. I've actually heard plenty of people say that they are a fan. All that in the past, we've seen Ian Thomas not work out. Tommy Tremble is the latest tight end who's still building, who's still developing over there. So you don't want to move on from him too fast. And then the receivers on the board are all really good. If you're going to think about Anthony Richardson and what he does best, and that is run, I think that you can try to turn him into the best improviser you can. Maybe a dual threat quarterback like Lamar is, like where he can run, stop, and throw. And I think that that could work with a guy like Josh Downs. I'm not sure where his football IQ is, but I know that his speed is good enough, and I know that you can teach football IQ. So Josh Downs is a very draftable player at this spot. Probably not going to be the exact spot I go. Still want to weigh my options in. Isaiah Foskey being here, BJ Ojulari even being here is very intriguing in itself. And then even at cornerback, you've got to, even consider Emmanuel Forbes or, Jalen Jones even is pretty good. Riley Moss tested and showed well. And I think Kyle Blue Kelly would probably be the next best guy. Maybe even behind Deonte Banks, Eli Ricks. So you got to weigh in. Probably my options here is Emmanuel Forbes, Notre Dame's Isaiah Foskey, and Josh Downs. And I think who I'm actually going to go with is Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame. I like the pick. It's fine. It took me a long time to get through that one just because you have so many needs and you had so many options. So I think that is what it is. Jackson Smith-Njigba was your first pick. That was 11 picks ago. And now you're back up on the board needing a defensive lineman. Siaki Ika is considered the other best in the class. Like, you have Jalen Carter, Brian Brzee, and then Siaki Ika is kind of that third guy, I would say. I think that's the order. Sorry. I like Tuli Tuipulotu a lot. All right, this guy, a lot. And he'll fly off the board here at number 42, the New Orleans Saints. So, I like the pick a lot. Tennessee Titans, you need so much. You need so much if you're them. You need so much. I think you would wait on wide receiver, maybe another late round guy to come in, but you have Kyle Phillips, Treylon Burks, Robert Woods. You just have a lot of these average guys, and you're waiting for one of them to break out. Treylon Burks looks like he could be a great player next year. I think that he'll be a little bit underrated, so maybe you could go one right here. Probably not going to be on pick. You go Paris Johnson with the first pick, and now you're going to go, maybe with BJ Ojulari's definitely in play, or Steve Avila. It's either or for me. Probably BJ Ojulari I'd be weighing towards just because you already got another offensive lineman. Let's go BJ Ojulari. LSU edge rusher, high upside guy, can do well given the right situation. And I think that that is the right situation. Cleveland Browns sold all their draft picks for Deshaun Watson. He doesn't even look that great. You're going to need a guy like Siaki Ika or a guy like, there's no more edge rushers. I'm sure Will McDonald's high on some people's boards. Andre Carter, I have him a little bit lower. I love Zach Harrison, but I just don't think it's time for him to go yet as well. These tight ends are falling. Some of these corners are also falling. Siaki Ika can't continue to fall. Siaki Ika finds himself off the board. And then I think we were talking about tight ends falling. Tyler Conklin had a good first year, or I guess a good first year as a New York Jet. CJ Uzama's really old. Maybe you get Darnell Washington as a guy that can develop behind all of them. I don't think that he's your top need, though. I think for me here, it's going to be Steve Avila off the board. No explanation needed. You just need all sorts of offensive linemen. You're getting older with Laken Tomlinson as well. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's a tackle. You already drafted Paris Johnson or Broderick Jones, and then you bring in Steve Avila. You just want to build around whoever your quarterback will be in the future, whether that's Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, and whatnot. You've got the running backs for sure with Breece Hall. Even Bam Bam Knight was really good. Or Bam Knight was really nice addition to the offense this last year. So, I don't know. I think you're in a good spot for New York. I think Emmanuel Forbes has fallen a little too far here. I think he's just a good corner. Good value at 44. So, it is just that. It is purely that reason. And tight ends stop falling. Dalton Kincaid off the board to the Green Bay Packers at 45. Not a dream scenario, but I'm sure that there will be a tight end there. Whether it's Dalton Kincaid or not, I don't know. But I like Kincaid the most out of these guys. As a Packers fan, I would love to see the way that their board has fallen. At number 15, you went Iowa State guy or Iowa. It was Lucas Van Ness and then Dalton Kincaid. I like the way that defensive pick and then the offensive pick. And then you'll have another one soon, and I'm sure there'll still be a good guy on the board. So, New England, Joey Porter Jr. off the board to them first, and then you're gonna need a wide receiver. Whether that is your traditional Josh Downs at this spot, sure. But Rashee Rice, hear me out. Rashee Rice is an amazing athlete. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, and runs very fast. Very insane playmaker. I really love Rashee Rice, and I think that he's a very high upside player. Whether or not he goes in the second round or not, I love the player. I just want to make that known. Could use offensive tackle. Darnell Wright is here. Could use a linebacker who's here. Noah Sewell is interesting, is intriguing, I should say. And then we already drafted Joey Porter Jr. Could go back-to-back. Kalijah Clancy, I don't think he's good enough. Derek Hall is the next best guy. Will McDonald could maybe fall off the board for you here. I don't think that's the case. I think the most Patriots thing to do here is I think you're going to have to pick Josh Downs. Yeah, I think that's the right move. It's a bit tough. I don't think he's your prototypical New England receiver, but I think that he could play a good role. It is what it is. Kayshon Boutte, I was thinking about it really, necessarily, was thinking about Rashee Rice. And then I even saw Cedric Tillman's name, and I was like, wow, he kind of feels like a Patriot. Didn't end up happening, just went Josh Downs, probably the best receiver available at this point. Whether or not he fell or not, I'm not sure if that's the accurate way to say it. But Washington, you need a quarterback. Could you, maybe reach on some of these guys? Maybe Tanner McKee, Malik Cunningham. I know Hendon Hooker's up there on people's boards, but he's just really old, all things considered. So what do you do here? It's a little bit of an unexpected pick. I think I'm going to go Noah Sewell. At 47, was up there at the beginning of the draft process, was at the linebacker 1 spot. He's kind of fallen off due to what reasons? I'm not sure if it's other guys getting hype or if it's him doing something wrong. I haven't really been paying attention to Noah Sewell's draft stock really. But at 47, the pick to Washington, Cole Holcomb obviously probably isn't your guy. Jamin Davis is very versatile, and I don't know. It's not a position of necessarily needed players, but I think that you're going to like what you get out of Noah Sewell early in the second round. And then we have the Lions twice more, starting with this pick. What do you need here? We addressed cornerback with Christian Gonzalez, defensive line with Brian Brzee. You don't necessarily need edge. You don't. Edge is not your top need at all. I think your next best need is a tight end or a linebacker. Tight ends still very much on the board. Linebackers very much still not on the board. You could reach for a guy like Jack Campbell. Wouldn't even be a reach. I've seen him mocked higher. But Darnell Washington being on the board is just too good. If you can develop him, obviously you have Dan Campbell as your head coach, former NFL tight end, former mauler, an absolute dog mentality. I think Darnell Washington can pick up on half of that. He'll be a stud in the league if he gets in the right situation. I don't think there is a better situation than to go to Detroit Lions and learn to be a tight end under Dan Campbell. At 48, Darnell Washington falls off the board for me. Anton Harrison was the other pick. Cam Smith was the other pick. What does this pick look like for this team? They say that they're going to need maybe a developmental guy on the defensive line, and I think Will McDonald could be that for them. You could use Jack Campbell. You have Miles Jack. The other guy, Devin Bush, has not worked out to your liking. Could you go safety here? Sure. There are really good safeties, especially down the board. Huge fan of Trey Dean and Rashad Torrance. I love the Florida safeties. I'm not sure why, but I love them. Sidney Brown as well has been really highly talked about. Even you could go a very different guy, maybe reach on someone down the board. I can't even remember who it was. It could have been on the edge. Oh, Zach Harrison, who I said I loved. Could take a shot in the dark and go Zach Harrison and watch him develop. Love the player. When I tell you, I don't think that there is someone I've liked in a draft more. I mean it. Zach Harrison, holy crap. I can't wait to see how he works out in the league. I have very high hopes for him, as you guys couldn't tell. I think it's just a good player. Good player off the board. I think he finds himself in a good position. I like the way that he plays and whatnot. And right here it says that we only pick safety, which is one of their needs, but Brian Branch can go play corner. I don't care about him, really. Will McDonald, just take him off the board. I'm happy with that. He's fallen far enough. I mean, it'd be a surprise to see him fall this far. I just couldn't find the right spot for him, and he'll continue to fall. Derek Hall, I do not consider better than Andre Carter by any means. And Isaiah McGuire, I've even seen go a lot higher than this. So I like Isaiah McGuire, but just not that much, not as much as other people. But I'm not really one to tell you the hits and misses. I tell you the guys I like and don't like. I don't think I'm here to tell you I evaluated their talent. I think they'll succeed. I'm more of a team-oriented guy right now, and whether or not the team likes and I think that they need, I'll tell you that. I can't tell you what the player will do for the franchise. I'm not there yet. I don't think. At Miami, this is your first and only pick in the first 2 rounds. You have to make it count. Whether or not you go with an offensive weapon like a running back, give him Devin Akane. I'm not sure which one it is. Give him or give the Dolphins Devin Akane or Akane. I'm not sure. You'd have to watch out, in my opinion. You'd have to watch out. You have so much speed on the team already. You have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Imagine adding the track star that Akane is. I'm going to say Akane. I love the fit too much. He's off the board. 2nd round. Oh my goodness. That would be something to watch for. So far, I think that the Seattle team has drafted well with Tyree Wilson, Trenton Simpson, Zay Flowers. I think the board has fallen to their advantages, and I think that really helps. I like the players that they've taken. They have one more pick in these first 2 rounds. What do you need? Where do you go? Interior offensive line, John Michael Schmitz still being on the board is a huge plus. You haven't gone any offensive line yet. Defensive lineman, maybe Gervon Dexter, Kalijah Kancey. I'm not really familiar with, but John Michael Schmitz will be my pick there. You have 2 picks coming up here for the Chicago Bears. First of the 2 is this one. And for me, it's got to be someone that can change a game. And I think Kalijah Kancey is good. I'm not sure like everything about him. Like I couldn't tell you if he's good or not. Darnell Wright as a player I'm a fan of, and I think in the right situation he could do well, and hopefully he's going to the right situation there in Chicago. I'm sorry, I probably just gave you guys a heart attack or like broke your eardrums. This mic is very sensitive, so sorry. Actually, I just hit it. But you got Jordan Addison at your number 1 pick. If Darnell Wright didn't go last pick, he might go this pick. I like Darnell Wright, but I also like other tackles, and I think that this team still needs a tackle. Jalen Duncan still being here is intriguing. A tight end is enticing. Deonte Banks is enticing. Elijah Ricks is nice to see on the board still. Jalen Jones is still here. I like these guys. I'm not going to say I absolutely despise, one or the other. I like a lot of guys on the board here for the Chargers. Whether or not we go Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft even would be a fun pick here. I'm not going to lie, probably doesn't go this high. I hate to say it. Luke Musgrave still on the board, has been tortured. He's 11 picks under. I mean, I don't care what they really have him rated. I'm just saying that for him to be falling, it doesn't really feel like he is falling. I don't think Luke Musgrave is really all that. You have Andre Carter still on the board here. You could use a huge body like who has a massive body in this? I don't think that there is any left. I'm not sure. Mozzie Smith could be pretty big. Gervon Dexter's not. I think he's like 295 max, I think. Not the point. Tight end, Luke Musgrave, off the board. Like the pick. It is what it is. Other teams might have him higher than me. I'm sure that's the case. I'm not that great, especially evaluating a guy like Luke Musgrave, who I haven't watched much on, haven't read much on either. So it is what it is. And then the way that this Lions draft has gone, Christian Gonzalez, Brian Brzee, and Darnell Washington, in my opinion, probably the best draft that they've had in recent years. I know that they've been hitting recently, but I mean, if these picks really hit, I know it's impossible to say right now, but as far as name value goes, I think that this is awesome. You're doing a great job. And then to get Andre Carter, edge rusher, out of the Army, I guess out of Army is nice. O'Cyrus Torrence was your number one pick. What do you need now? You need corner. Deonte Banks still on the board. Probably will be my pick there. So Deonte Banks falls off of the board. Nolan Smith was your first pick. I don't think that was exactly the pick that, a lot of Giants fans wanted or like felt like was right. And I'm sorry for that. I don't feel bad at all. But I don't know. You could use a receiver here. I think Rashee Rice and what Brian Dable could do with him would be insane. Nathaniel Dell would also be really fun to watch. That being said, Kayshon Boutte is still on the board. I'm not going to do the Giants like that. Give me Rashee Rice out of SMU. I think that he's a stud, man. I can't believe I like players so much in this class, and I think Rashee Rice is probably top 3 for me in this class, like favorite players and like what I think they'll do. Not top 3 in the class, just top 3 players I like as a favorite myself. Rashee Rice, Zach Harrison, and Antonio Johnson are probably my top 3. I love all the players. I probably follow their whole career, no matter what, no matter where they go, no matter how bad they are. I'm still on the Sam Darnold wagon just because I drafted him in one of my dynasty leagues. So it is what it is. Here at 58, corners are still in play, in my opinion here. At 58, you're going to have to replace Leighton Vander Esch at one point or the other as well. You don't need many other. You could use a running back as well. Unfortunately, the good ones have passed. You're not going to really take a chance on Charbonnet at this point. Tucker Kraft still being here, you don't need him. I think if you're going to go anywhere, it's going to be either receiver, it's going to be Henry To'oTo'o or Jack Campbell, or it's going to be Julius Brents or Kyu Blu Kelly. Even Elijah Ricks would be interesting here, and I like Jalen Jones. Garrett Williams is also pretty cool, but not that great. For me, it's going to be between these linebackers and whether or not I take Henry To'oTo'o. And I think To'oTo'o is a good player. I think that he could step up into a role early, but I think it will take him a little bit to kind of find his identity in the NFL. I don't know. Heading from the Alabama Crimson Tide to the NFL I'm not going to say that it's not a big transition at all. I just think it's a smaller transition than most teams. You have these guys coming out of, like Washington State or even further down the board here, Tulane or NC State. You just have guys that aren't really familiar with the top end talent, and it really they sometimes struggle. I think Henry To'oTo'o, average, good player, solid, nothing special, but we'll see. Here, if you are the Buffalo Bills, I like the running backs that are still on the board for you, but I don't know if you want to risk any of that right now when you could still have a guard. Tippmann, Whippler's still here. I didn't know Monch was still there. And then Jalen Duncan's still here. I think that's got to be... running back is intriguing here, but I just don't think that there's anyone you're really in love with at this point. You got Antonio Johnson already. You don't necessarily need corner. It would be nice. You don't need it, though. Wide receiver, you could use... I think that one of these guys further down the board would really fit instead of immediately off the board. So, I don't know. It is tough to mock for this team in the second round for sure. Tucker Kraft still on the board as well. Let's go Parker Washington out of Penn State. Probably my worst pick yet. I don't know. It's not big at all. I think that you already have Khalil Shakir. You might lose Gabe Davis in these upcoming years as well. Stephon Diggs, who knows how long he's going to play. I think Parker Washington's a sit on the bench and learn guy for the first couple of years, and then maybe he can come in and play a small role. It is just what it is. First 2 rounds, probably my worst pick. Yeah, I already regret it, but we got to keep on moving for sure. With the Cincinnati Bengals, what could you do here if you're the Cincinnati Bengals? I think that you've got to consider offensive linemen. At this point, whether or not it is interior or not, you're just going to need someone. And I think Jalen Duncan is that guy for you. Jalen Duncan, Maryland offensive tackle. Very nice, very good. I think that is just a solid overall pick at this spot, at this point in time. Yeah, and then we're coming up on the last, 4 picks here. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be on a little bit of a roller coaster. I feel like I'm going to have to cough, so there's going to be a pause in the video. And already a really good draft for the Carolina Panthers. I think that you've drafted well to this point. Kayshon Boutte will fall off the board to the Carolina Panthers. I do like that. Who's still on the board that, teams were really, or I guess where this program here really wanted me to take? A lot of defensive linemen, like interior guys. I don't feel like I'm doing them dirty or anything like that. I just don't think teams need them as much as the thing feels as good as they are. I just don't feel like teams really want. But I think that Calijah Kancey, I like it. I like the pit. I like the pit here. I was gonna say I like the pick here, and so we'll take him as a developmental guy. Maybe sit behind Fletcher Cox. Although Fletcher Cox said that he does want to win a ring. Is that Fletcher Cox? I don't know if that was Fletcher. I could be wrong, but they're gonna need some. And I think Calijah Kancey is good. We'll see how he can really work out there. You already have Jordan Davis, and Javon Hargrave will be gone soon. Fletcher Cox can only play for so long, and Brandon Graham will be gone soon. He doesn't really play interior anyways, though. And then the Chiefs here, you got Drew Sanders, which to me is good value at 31, and then at 63 to have availability to a guy like Derek Hall or even Isaiah McGuire here. I really like the players that you have in front of you, but do the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that you're going to need an edge rusher on the opposite side of George Karlaftis. Frank Clark is obviously not going to play forever, and Chris Jones is such a force up the inside. I think that you'd like to have Karlaftis on a single team, and then a double team on Chris Jones, and then obviously Derek Nottie won't be there for, I think this is his contract year. So whoever else is playing interior, and then you'd like to have that other guy that's still on a one-on-one. And I think you'd want a guy more with either a lot of power or a lot of finesse. And I think Isaiah McGuire is just a good pick here. I think he stood out to me personally. And so that is pretty fun. I like that. And then at this point in time with this team, you got Will Anderson, you got Darnell Wright. What else do you need? Mazi Smith here is interesting. I'd be more biased to playing out to the board here, but it is what the team needs. And there's no other really game changers in the wide receivers right now that you need to take. So I think Derek Hall is in play, but I think more than that is going to be Mazi Smith. Gervon Dexter I like, but not more than Mazi Smith. I've read a few things about Mazi Smith. I'm interested to see how he will do. Oh my goodness, I think I had saliva on my pinky or something. I don't know. I don't know. I like Mazi Smith. I'm gonna take him. Yeah, I'm gonna take him. So draft is complete. Happy to see it. It's nice to do a 2-rounder. Some of you guys do want more rounds. I think that this is going to be a huge test to see on how much people watch. It's a long recording. Hopefully you guys do with it. I'll make a shorter one next time or something. I'll try to make it whatever. I'll see you guys next time.